Hi, so today we have got Natasha on live with us. Natasha is a hard-working business owner, mother and wife who is trying to juggle business, relationships, and now being a homeschooling teacher, all from the comforts of her own home during lockdown. So, Natasha, how are we getting on?
Not bad. We are plodding along. We are dealing with tantrums to get schoolwork done, as I'm expecting everybody else is in the same position.
Very much so.
Yeah, we are trying to work still from home because we do, and we're in a fortunate position where we can, and trying to just keep sane. Like,
Yeah.
that's basically it. Making sure we all kind of don't kill each other, quite frankly.
Yeah. Okay,
So yeah,
so
it's just
yeah, just one of them, just a bit
yep.
overwhelm at the moment. I think they're calling it, trying to deal with the
Yeah, it can
overwhelm.
be. Yeah,
Yeah,
it can be. And the house is constantly a mess because
yeah.
everybody is in it all the time. And that's my biggest drama, I must say. I hate it.
Just constantly clearing, tidying, clearing. What's it? It's the painting of the famous bridge, isn't it? Once you finish, you've got to start again. Is it
Exactly
Golden
that.
Gate Bridge? I think it is. Yeah. I think they've probably combated that by
I have
now.
no idea. There is one though. I know it is an actual saying.
So, talk to me about it. Let's quickly touch on business quickly. So,
hmm
have a look at how we, what for the viewers, what do you do, and what are you still managing to juggle, and what are you managing to still work with at the
hmm
moment then?
Right. So obviously you know me from being a photographer.
Mhm.
So that's kind of my primary thing, which is completely dead. Like that
Yeah,
is just
yeah.
a complete no-go right now. But I also launched a sunglasses brand, which is also just plateaued, completely died down. But I think that's partially my own fault because I've not really concentrated on it since we've gone
Yeah.
into lockdown. Because I know people are a bit funny about receiving packages in the post and all of that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. So
And there's
kind of
no
let that
holidays as
go.
well. No one's going on holidays.
Exactly. Even though the weather is beautiful, like the weather's absolutely amazing. So yeah, people aren't traveling. So I've kind of just let that like slide, which is
Mhm.
probably not the best thing to have done. But then we own a coin dealerships, which is what is keeping us afloat at the moment. It's keeping our head above the water and it's
Yeah.
paying the bills. So we're
Cool,
really
cool, cool.
lucky.
So for anyone watching, I will stick some links in the notes section of this in the bio, so you can check out
Mhm.
a little bit of what you guys do. To be honest,
Yeah,
as well as
good.
yeah, especially like the excitement and the fun around doing the photography stuff. I bet. Are you
Yeah,
missing
it's
that
good.
kind of lifestyle at the moment?
I do
Yeah,
miss it. I suppose it's that creativity and that social interaction as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
It's like I love my own company. I love being alone. I love my own space, but I also love being around a big group of people and bouncing ideas around and all of that stuff. So I do miss that, and I think that's partially why I'm going a bit stir crazy on some days.
yeah. What are you guys doing to kind of keep active and stuff? Are you walking around? Are you going out for your walks, or are you staying at home for it?
I have been awful. Like, I personally have
Yeah,
done sod all. The
good.
kids are exercising every morning.
Yeah,
But I keep saying to them, we've got dogs. And I'm like, right, we need to take dogs out. Let's go, let's go. But my youngest, he's terrified. He's only 6 and
yeah,
he's on the spectrum. So he's a bit of a germ phobe. And he's absolutely terrified of leaving the house. He's not left the
no,
house in a month. And I keep saying to him, come on, we live in a forest is literally just over the road. I'm like, let's go to the forest today. No, because I'm going to get corona. I'm like, you're not, it's fine. We don't need to talk to people. You're allowed out of the house. So I'm having a major struggle actually getting them to want to go out and just run free because they're not able to burn off the energy that they do kind of during the week when they're at school, so to speak, because
yeah,
their minds are obviously active all day when they're at school. Then they have break times, lunch times. After school, they go for a run around and then they kind of come home, have their routine, and it's pretty much bedtime by that point. But now they're doing their learning in the morning, which is taking a lot quicker than it would if they're in a classroom with 30 other kids. And they're not being half as active, probably not even a quarter active as what they were. So they're struggling to fall asleep at night, which is then having
yeah.
a knock-on effect on everything else because then they're moody little shits the next day. So it's really, so I'm desperate to get them out over there, but it's honestly not worth the argument, if I'm being honest.
Nah.
It's just not worth me falling out with the kids to drag them out over the forest. So it's a hard one.
Playing a lot of it.
Oh, really?
In the garden, yeah.
Yeah.
And I forgot how fun that kind of stuff is. You know, just being chased and running around. Like, obviously, playing rugby and stuff, I used to have that all the time. But silly little kids' games, that you don't really need to reinvent the wheel if you're in your own back garden and you don't really mind about, you know, running around a bit. So we've been doing a bit of that. I don't know whether that would help. What kind of things have you done to try and keep like occupied? I suppose just anything like games, or is there anything that that you found a bit of like an aha with that's worked?
What, with the kids or just in general?
In general, maybe your own sanity.
Yeah, well, the Hubs, he's all of a sudden turned into Alan Titchmarsh, so he's literally out there doing all sorts in the garden. The boys, they're computer mad anyway, so they have been spending more time than I would like on their Xboxes.
Yeah.
But they're really into like brain teaser games at the moment on the iPad, which I quite like, because I feel like that it kind of stimulates them and it gets their brain working. And I think actually things like that are quite good for them. And they've surprised me, especially the 6-year-old. I'm like, oh my God, you're actually quite smart. Like it's like, it's blown my mind a little bit, because I'm looking at these puzzles thinking, no, it's impossible. And he's like, no, mum, you just do this, 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 and this. I'm like, wow, okay. So, and maybe it's because he looks at things in a much more black and white way than I suppose adults do. I think they overcomplicate it. But like brain teasers, he's really into puzzles. Mm-hmm. The eldest is kind of missing being around his friends. So he's spending a lot of time just on his headset, chatting with his mates. And he's really into music. So he's been spending a lot of time listening to music, playing on GarageBand.
How old
he has decided 10. So yeah, he's nearly 11, nearly 7, nearly 11. But the eldest has decided he's kind of wants to get into music recording and production and that sort of stuff.
Oh wow!
So my husband's got decks in the loft, so I think he's going to dig them out soon, and I think they're going to have a little session.
Have a rave, have a house rave,
a little party, yeah. So we've kind of been doing things like quiz nights with the friends, and I've just been trying to focus on where I want to take my business going forward and what I really want to focus on, and been trying to knuckle down on that. And then it's just doing stuff around the house, like the little DIY jobs that haven't been done, and clearing out the drawers, all the boring stuff that never really gets done any other time apart from when you've got hours and hours to spare. So nothing too exciting really.
We did the drawers the other day. Well, Gemma did. I just came out to a bin bag just full of stuff.
Oh, it's amazing. I'm
a bit of a hoarder when it comes to weird stuff like that.
It's like Alan, it drives me insane.
If I could turn this around, I've got a pirate ship over there. There's a pirate hat here. This is my man cave, you see. There's tons of globes and stuff like this knocking around.
Oh God, it's like Alan's office. It drives me potty. The stuff he's getting, I'm like, why are you buying this stuff? What is that even for? And I'm in my office at the moment.
Well. I get it bought for me. In fact, that was a present from the wife, and I love that. That's a Macallan whiskey barrel top, which is amazing.
Oh, that's quite cool.
But there's other stuff in here that I've already done one colour as well. I've got rid of loads of stuff, and it kind of got to the driveway, and then half it came back with me. And that's what I'm like. So
sounds like my lot.
And I'll have a carrier bag, which I'm, like Angela said, seen you filling.
Actually, wait, I love that one. That's my favourite.
Oh yeah, half a jar of jam and all sorts of. Oh, don't. And
that's exactly what this looked like.
It's fun, isn't it? But it's good fun at the same time. Okay, so let's go back to that. So your direction at the moment, I suppose it's got a bit of a. It's a turbulent time, especially for the likes of yourself and myself, where the unknown, when it comes to business, the unknown is there. So,
that's it. And I think kind of with both of what we do, it's client based. You need people around to be able to actually work. So I'm kind of exploring things I could potentially do online, like virtually. And I suppose you're doing the same with workouts and all stuff like that online. And one of the things that I get asked a lot by other business owners is I've worked with a lot of influencers and kind of TV people. So I'm now working on, I've given at networking events, I've given speeches on how to connect with those kinds of people, how to get featured in various media and all of that stuff. So that's what I'm kind of focusing on now, trying to build something up around that. If I can see there's a demand there because I'm already kind of doing it as and when. So I'm kind of trying to knuckle down on that. So whilst we're in lockdown, I can be helping people in that sense. And I don't need to be face to face. It can be exactly what we're doing right now, sitting there having a chat via Zoom. So that's something I'm exploring, and I'm quite excited about it, actually.
Well, it's definitely, it's the world. This has brought the online community forward by about 10 years. About 10 years.
Oh,
I think
massively.
it's improved some services for business. I think this is going to contribute to the London bubble bursting. I really do. Like the property
bubble.
bubble.
So, because I come from that world. And I hated that London corporate lifestyle. Well, I say I hated it. I didn't. I enjoyed the party lifestyle. I hated the pressure of the business side of it. So I would love to see something change.
What sector was that?
Investment banking.
Oh, yeah, my brother's an investment banker. Yeah,
it was it's hard work, great money, great fun sometimes, the social life amazing. The pressure, I burnt out at 25, so that was that. And that was just before I got the studio near SAS. So
the old gym.
It was like a year or two before that. So
I think it's great that you've had
quite interested to see.
Yeah, well, that is definitely a prediction of mine anyway, but I'll go into that in a bit. But I think it's amazing that you had, if I'm going to dip into this, you had the strength and the, I think the word is the courage to bin off the city lifestyle, because it's such
I had nothing to go to either. Nothing.
You just went, no, I'm going to go and follow my passion, which you ended up doing.
Well, it was makeup at the time. Yeah, it was makeup. I don't even know if you know this, actually. Before I had the studio, I didn't even know photography when I opened that studio. I hadn't picked up I didn't even own a camera. I was a makeup artist, and I was working with photographers within Essex, and found that they were working out of literally rooms no bigger than what this office size is now, like these tiny little kind of 10 foot by 12 foot spaces. Models were having to hide in a little corner, trying to cover themselves up, getting changed. And I was like, no, something needs to be done about that. So I opened a studio just to merely hire out to photographers. And then I was like, kind of like the look of that photography lark. And that was it. Got a camera, taught myself how to do it. And within 6 months, I was working with all the lads mags and like the Daily Star and the Sport and stuff. So
it's amazing as well, because you obviously saw something, because it was unusual. It's unusual for a woman to work with glamour models, isn't it?
Yes, very much so.
So you clearly saw something that guys didn't. Now,
well,
Now, I'm not going to lie, that studio was amazing. I remember sitting.
Great.
I think we had like one day there was just Amy Charles sitting in there in her Range Rover. There was some. There was there was some, and at the time, only way as Essex.
She was huge at the time.
She was so big, and we were like, wow, like this, right in the back end of Southend, outside a gym called Spit and Sawdust. There's a huge Range Rover with Amy Charles. She's at the height of her career, sitting there giving us all away, because she was lovely as well. She was
absolute dream. One of the nicest girls.
The guys, honestly, like, they've done worlds of good for my business. So thank you very much.
Well, I'm glad I helped. But no, it was great. And then kind of that industry kind of just died a death, like the whole
Instagram did that. Instagram.
No, it wasn't. It was feminist. And I know that sounds really bad, because I like to think of myself as a feminist. But for me, a feminist is someone that supports other women in the careers they choose to do, no matter what that is. But feminists shut down lads mags. They shut down Page 3 because they thought it was degrading. And so I'm not very fond of those kinds of feminists, I've got to say, but that's my own personal opinion. They didn't just stop the girls working, they stopped graphic designers working, they stopped
Yeah.
like editors, everything. So luckily I've still got loads of friends that went on to do other things from that industry, but they weren't just affecting the women, they was affecting hundreds and hundreds of men as well. Just crazy. I could rant about that for hours, so I'll just stop now.
Well, no, I mean, the fact is there is a market for it, there is a calling for it, and when anybody wins a case like that, because because of a personal problem,
It is.
they have to think of the ramifications of that, and I don't think that there's a great justice in it, because the guys stuff's still going. You know, you can go and buy all sorts of pictures with all sorts of magazines with guys with pretty much nothing on. I don't. You know, if I can go topless in a magazine, I'm sure.
Well, it's a nipple at the end of the day, let's be honest. It's a bloody nipple.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world, is it?
No, I suppose not.
We digress.
But look, I think where there once was opportunity, there's now more opportunity, because I think a lot of people gave up.
Agree.
I think probably a lot of people gave up from that. And, you just have to look outside the box then, don't you? You just have to think a bit differently. And you're definitely one for doing that. So what can you think? Where do you want to push that element then? Where do you want to push yourself when it comes to moving forward? I mean, at the moment, it's just like a brain explosion, isn't it?
It is. It's hard. It's something I've been kind of thinking about a lot. Like, I love photography. I'd still like to continue doing that. But I've had people going, you should do weddings, you should do this. I just can't. I can't stand it. I've tried weddings, and I've done one for a friend and one for someone I went to school with, and I just hated it.
Yeah.
It's just not something I enjoy. I've done the whole family portrait thing, and sometimes I enjoy it. Most of the time I don't. I enjoy working with people and kind of them seeing themselves in a different way, if you like. So women mostly, I expect, because guys, I think, have way more body confidence and self-awareness than most women tend to. They don't tend to have the same kind of insecurities. So I love when I work with a girl or woman, female, and she comes in and she's a little bit nervous. She's a little bit like, oh, not sure. And I'm not talking about in glamour or anything like that. I'm just on about in general.
Everyday people.
Doesn't even like herself in jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
But then she looks at the pictures, and because of how we've posed her and how we've kind of positioned the body, she's like, oh my God, that's what I really look like. I'm like, yes, you do. You look phenomenal. So I love that kind of type of photography, if you like the more empowering stuff.
Yeah.
So I do want to continue to do that. But what I've learned from that is I love to help people. And I think that's where this kind of helping people learn how to work with influencers and TV personality and all that stuff, I think that's something I'm really passionate about, because again, it's that whole helping someone either realize what they can achieve or realize how people think things are really difficult, and they're not. Things really aren't as hard as people make them out to be in their head. And we had this conversation about me. Yeah. Like we were saying the other day about, I hate video. Like, it's something I hate doing, but I'm doing more of it because we're in a world where we kind of have to. And because I like to push myself. So I'm much more comfortable behind the camera than in front of it. But I think I'm pretty decent at being in front of it as well. So,
you know what? I listened to a podcast the other day. There was a lady on with, was it Tim Ferriss? No, it might have been Tony Robbins. Yeah, I think it was Tony Robbins.
Love Tony.
The lady that invented Spanx. Okay, huge household.
She's amazing. Yep.
Yeah. And so bad. I always forget who is on. I always remember who's hosting the podcast. I always forget the name. In fact, I'm going to look her up in a minute.
I know the exact lady who you mean, though. I've seen interviews with her before. She's phenomenal.
She is absolutely amazing. But she said same kind of thing. The stuff she hated doing. She'd always make a habit of doing it, and she'd also do this other thing where have you ever done where you ask for 10% or a free something? Can I have? So you go up to Starbucks and then you ask for 10% off just for no reason.
No, I can't. I'm really funny about things like that.
Yeah. No. That's why. That's why. Now I haven't done it, but this lady had a habit of embarrassing herself when she could. So find a way to embarrass. So she'll start singing.
Oh, I do that all the time. Yeah, I love doing all that. I'm a public dancer. That's my thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a bit of that. But the asking people for stuff. What was it? Asking people. Oh, she asks people for their seat all the time on a bus.
Oh, I like that though. Yeah, I like that. When I
No,
was
but
pregnant, I was
not a full
commuting
bus, not a full bus or a full train.
just because
Just I want that one, but not horrible. Just
I want
don't
that one.
suppose. Yeah. I don't. She just goes up to. I don't suppose I could have that seat. And like sometimes you get a yes or a no, but she doesn't care the outcome.
Yeah, I suppose it teaches you resilience, doesn't it, a little bit?
Exactly it. Exactly it.
Yeah. Yeah, I just
What does
never.
he do? He jumps into a freezing cold pool of water every morning, doesn't he? Tony Robbins does, doesn't he?
I've tried the cold shower thing. It was horrific.
Well, he reckons he does it because it's he doesn't want to do it, so he does it.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't do that, but I make sure my alarm's on for 6 every morning. I get up, I do all my online stuff, which to be fair, I don't mind doing. I would rather do it at 9 o'clock. The one thing I've got to start doing, I've got to get up half an hour early, so 5:30, and I've got to go out and I've got to run because I hate running.
I'm actually thinking about taking it up myself, to be honest, because I hate it as well.
Yeah.
I am not a cardio fan whatsoever. Like, I can't stand it. I would much rather go. Like, I miss being in the gym. Like, I really enjoy the gym. Yeah. And I was just about to change to a different gym, like I like to call them a more manly gym. So a gym where it's not too posy, where it's all weights and predominantly kind of that's the setting.
Absolute? Was it Absolute you're going to go?
Yeah, I was going to join there because it's literally just up the road.
Yeah.
And
it's a cool gym.
Then we got locked down and I was like, great, fantastic. Yeah. So I much prefer doing that sort of stuff, but I'm really considering maybe doing like a couch to 5K challenge, purely for the fact I hate it. I want to do something to challenge myself.
Yeah.
Like running, I just think it's so boring. Even with music on it, it's just so boring. But I love walking, which is odd. So
I'm the same. I'm exactly the same.
Weird.
I could put a podcast in, I could take the dog and I could go for a 2 hour, 3 hour
walk. Yeah.
And I will feel enlightened, empowered, I'll feel motivated, I'll come home feeling amazing. To be fair, I do feel like that at the end of a run. But during the walk, I'll enjoy the whole, it could be freezing cold, -5, hat on, like the dog's having a lovely time. I'm listening to amazing, content. At the moment I start running, I hate it.
I don't remember the last time I've run.
I'm gonna because I hate it.
Don't remember. It was probably for a bus when I was a teenager or something. I don't remember the last time I ran. It's just awful. But yeah, I'm seriously considering it myself because I get up early. Not as early recently since we've been on lockdown, but during school time, I'm up between 5 and 5:30 every day. Because I like to have at least an hour to kind of sort myself out in the morning, get my head straight before the chaos of the day begins. So I'll get up, have like a little morning routine. I normally drink one of these straight away when I get up, cup of tea or herbal tea or something, and then just sit and be still and be quiet and plan for the day of the things that you're doing. And then the chaos begins. And once the kids are at school, it's getting back to work and all of that stuff. So we're just trying to adjust the routines of what we do. And it's really, really confusing at the moment. I think it's really hard time to balance it and to find these new routines that work for not just me anymore. It's everyone else is at home, so it has to work around them as well. So it's a challenge.
I mean, it's not only routine as well, it's like your own personal development. I know you're very big on personal development. I know you teach.
You can probably see all the books here.
Yeah.
They're all my Tony Robbins, who else is over there? Richard Branson, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad, all of that. And then I've got more over here as well.
Robert Kiyosaki, brilliant. I love him. Probably the first enlightening business book I read was Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and was my favourite book for years until I actually read, and I got so much from this for business, which was Ant Middleton, First Man In.
I don't know that one. I'll have to check that out.
Ant Middleton from SAS Who Dares Wins off the telly. You know, the dark-haired guy.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I've not seen the book, or read the book.
Honestly, I read it. We went to New York, and I read it on the way to. So on the journey to and from, I had it done. It was I couldn't honestly could not put it down.
Oh, I love it when you get one like that.
It was so good. I've got the Fear Bubble, which I started, but where I've been so busy, again, opened it, probably smashed about 50 pages in the first opened it up. I was like, whoa, and then suddenly life started doing this.
Yeah.
You would have thought lockdown would have meant I would read more, but for some reason,
yeah, I just seem to be really busy doing really bizarre stuff at the moment. Not necessarily like work stuff, just stuff. Like, oh no, I'm sorry, this is going on at the minute. I can't. It's just a really bizarre time.
No, I know. But the mad thing is, I mean, we are fully living through history right now. So
I say this every day.
We're experiencing it. So this is going to be as spoken about as wars are spoken about as new
Black
ages.
Plague.
Yeah, I think we're probably experiencing an age as well. Now this is crazy. Like I went to a speak a little while ago. Gary V put something on at the Trop
My man.
in London, and one of the guest speakers before, a guy called Sandy Jadea, who is he actually teaches you how to trade on the markets, and I'm doing a couple of his programs. He and invest in stocks and shares. More about I'm more about long term as opposed to short term.
Yep.
He said that if you're about 40 years old, you've lived through something like 10 ages. And to put that in context, the Iron Age was 10,000 years. So that's how long an age is meant to be.
Yeah, I just feel like I feel really lucky to have been born in the mid-80s because we've seen so much development, so much change and evolution, if you like. It's just like when I was talking to the kids, Albie, the 6-year-old, he is a cheeky little sod. He went to me the other day, Mum, were you alive in Victorian times? I'm like, whoa, mate, chill, I'm not that old. He went, but we've got computers and stuff now. You didn't even have electricity. I was like, I think you find I even had a Sega Mega Drive and a Nintendo, mate. Come on. He went to me, what's that? I went, well, Sonic, that thing you like. Oh, so you knew about him? I was like, yeah, I knew about him. And so then I sat and explained to them kind of how things were even 20 years ago with dial-up internet and all of that stuff. They're like, oh my God, you knew what life was like before the internet? And I was like, yeah, I said, I've experienced a lot for someone who isn't even 36 yet. So, crazy, we've seen so much change. And I think in industry change as well as in industrial, almost like a modern industrial revolution, if you like. So it's fascinating. I think this lockdown period, I think you're going to see a whole new wave of, and I actually hate the word. I'm not a big fan of the word entrepreneur, if I'm being honest. I think it gets thrown around too much by people that don't necessarily deserve the title. But I do think you are going to see a whole new wave of business people coming out of it. And I think it's going to separate the strong from the weak, if you like, as in a sense of people are either going to flourish and find a way, or they're just going to give up and think, do you know what, I gave it a good go, but it didn't work out. So now's a time for me to either maybe go back to what I was doing beforehand, or maybe go and get a job or something like that. But I think we're going to see a huge change in industry yet again.
Yeah, I think I very much believe so. I think the online world has come along to a different level now. I think everyone's learning, but what you said there actually hit home. When it comes to people that are not passionate about their business and only passionate about the revenue, they're getting found out. They're getting found out because they're not doing anything. They are trying to find ways of just getting money from the government. They're not providing any. They're not trying to better what they're going to come back with, and they're not doing it. They're not still doing it. If you're fully passionate, like so, I'm fully passionate about helping people get fit, lose weight. I'm still doing it. I'm still paying my staff to doing it. And I know that you're sitting there perfecting your trade right now. I know you've probably got to concentrate on your coin business more than anything right now, but you're still perfecting your trade. And
that's it. I'm even going back through old photo shoots to find pictures that may have kind of slid to the back burner for whatever reason. to revamp the website or to get more content for social media and all of that stuff. So that's
to
just
inspire.
because it's what I love and it's what I want to continue to do. So I've got to find a way to keep it going, to make it happen.
Right, we've got to get you down to because we've got you down to SAS because it's a proper split sawdust gym. But we do need to get you down to
in
ABC.
there.
We need to get you down to ABC as well because there's so much.
You need to get one over this way as well.
I was thinking that the other day.
You do. There's such a huge. Well, I say this in Brentwood. All of a sudden, we seem to have had a load of boxing gyms just crop up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Which actually, that if we're talking cardio stuff, that's probably the only kind of aerobic exercise, if you like, cardio kind of style workout that I enjoy. Because I used to do kickboxing years ago and love that. But yeah, loads of them were just cropped up out of nowhere. I'm like, what the hell's going on in Brentwood? Like, why are we all boxers all of a sudden?
Well, we've got
getting ready for
similar down here. Loads of little boxing gyms, lots of Muay Thai gyms.
Well, it's great. It's great to see more going on.
If a unit comes up you think will work, DM me.
Do you know what? There's one that we were looking at for years. It was just this empty, vacant, beautiful building, really lovely. Kind of. Yeah. I suppose it would have been back in the day, maybe an old small factory or something like that. But an old building was pretty much derelict. It needed new windows, the whole lot.
Yeah.
And that was that way since we moved to Brentwood just about 11 years ago now. And we just kept looking at it going, if that ever comes up, we'd love that building, we'd love that. And all of a sudden, it's now a boxing gym out of nowhere. I'm like, how did that happen? And it never had any to let signs up or nothing. But yeah, and I understand why they took it because it's a fantastic building. It's a great big open space. It's just great. So yeah, I will keep you posted because we need something else over here. I think Absolute's great.
Yeah.
I think that's a great space. Then we've got a better gym, which I was a member of, and I hated it. Hate is a harsh word. It just wasn't kind of what I was looking for.
Yeah.
But loads of other people I know loved it. Then we have the Brentwood Centre, which is great, which I was also a member of at one point. Because I thought, I'll go swimming, I'll do all of that, I'll use all the activities. I didn't use any of them, I just went in the gym. So it wasn't worth it for me. And we've got another kind of chain type ones, but there's nothing that's really, yes, perfect, that's the one. And there's nothing that's open early. And I know ABC has their early morning clubs, don't they, like the 5 a.m. stuff.
Yeah, got a 5 a.m. club. We open at 6 anyway, but we've got the 5 a.m. club as well for people that really want to get
We don't have that here, and that would be perfect for someone like me who likes to be up and get things done in the morning. So
Brentwood would be full of that. It's a good commuter town. It's it's got good links.
I think the earliest gym is open at 6:30, but that's no good for me to be going to the gym because that's when the kids are getting up. I'd rather be in at 5:30, out at 6:30, home by 6:45.
Yeah.
Then that's me done for the day.
So
come over and just have an early morning gym. Come over here.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to start wrapping up now. Yep. Let's have a little think about what's your biggest take home from what's going on right now when it comes to your family. What would you say that you're appreciating and what are you concentrating on? Big question.
I suppose it's lovely to have. I've noticed a real change in the boys. Albie, because he's on the spectrum, he gets anxious about going to school because he finds it quite difficult. He's behind on his reading and writing, but everything else is insane. Like the knowledge this kid has just baffles me sometimes. But actually, physically sitting down and writing is one of the things he struggles with. But it's been really wonderful to see, and I actually said to my husband this morning that I've really noticed over the past few days that out of nowhere he just seems to have got it. He's not anxious anymore. He's not having the rages and the tantrums that he used to have when he was at school because he was struggling and he was almost overwhelmed and overloaded with the activities from the day, I suppose.
Yeah.
So it's been nice to see him. He has them still, because some of them's just in being a spoiled little sod. He's 6, that's what kids do.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the main kind of overload stuff, it's been lovely to see that kind of change in him and how he's more confident in trying to read things, and he's been writing us little notes and little things like that. So that's been really lovely to see that, because I probably wouldn't have seen that if he was at school for 7 hours a day, because by the time he comes home to us, he ends up just so exhausted and so worn out that he doesn't want to do any of it. So he doesn't even like reading at bedtime with us and stuff like that. So it's nice to have seen that. With the eldest, he's really gobby at the moment. I think he thinks he's a teenager, so that's getting shut down real quick.
Yeah.
But he's got a really goofy side to him that we're seeing a lot of at the minute, and I love that because I'm an absolute goofball.
Yeah.
The boys are always going to me, Mum, stop it, you're embarrassing. And I'm like, nah, it's great, it's fine. So it's nice to kind of see these other sides of them, which we don't really get to see usually, because
No, of course not.
even though they're our kids, they're out of our house for 7 hours every day. So we only see the little snippets that they allow us to see at home. So that's been wonderful. As I said earlier, it's really no different for me and Alan because we're both from home 24/7 anyway. So we're always together. We're used to that. The only difference is the house is just a mess all the time. So, but we're coping. But kind of one thing I think is really important for everybody is to just try and find some time to be by yourself if you can. And it is hard with the kids. And my kids are very much mummy's boys as well. So they never ask Alan for anything. They're always mum, 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 mum. I'm like, oh my God. But I think it's so important, whether that means getting up half an hour earlier, whether that means just going to sit up in your bedroom for half an hour on your own, or going out for your daily walk. I think it's really important right now for every single person in the house to have some time. And I even say to the kids, go and chill out upstairs for half an hour. I think you need to just go and gather yourself and just chill. And I think I needed 4 days of it the other day, but I think that was kind of hormonal as well. I felt a little bit ropey and I was just like, I just need space. I think it just all got a bit much and I was like, I just need space. And I think we all do. And I think we should all focus on kind of nurturing ourselves as well as looking after our families. We can't let that side of it slide at all.
I think, well, I think I'm pretty happy to wrap up there. The next question was, what would you say for people about themselves? But you've done that perfectly.
Look after yourself.
Yeah, I love that.
Make sure you're eating well. Eating good things, not just snacking all day.
I found myself making stuff and I sit there and think, what are you making? Why would you need that? Why would I need? So the other day I found a bag of half-eaten granola at the back of the cupboard, right? And it was still fine. And I don't eat granola because it is so high in like sugar.
So sugary.
Well, it's just high calorie. And I thought, all right, there's a banana over there that's seen better days. And I know that I normally make my overnight oats like that. I thought, I'll use granola instead. I'll put some white chocolate protein powder in that with a bit of cinnamon, mixed it all up.
God, you are bulking up.
And I sat there and I thought, that's 800 calories. What are you like? What are you doing? What are you doing? So naturally, I ate it. Oh, damn.
This is why you've got to go for your runs.
I just binned it. I ate one and I made 2, obviously. So I've binned the other one. But I love that. Focus on yourself. Take some time for yourself. Eat well. Try and be as active as you can, but look after number one so you can look after everyone else.
Exactly.
Right?
And don't put too much pressure. Like there's these whole memes going around saying you should be learning this new skill, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. No, you shouldn't. You should be doing what feels right for you, and that's it, quite frankly. And if sitting down binge watching something on Netflix feels right that day, just go for it. Do it.
Survived another day.
Simple.
Survived another
Exactly.
day.
We're living through history, as we said.
There you go.
So just go with it.
The other thing I'm going to say as well, I love the idea that you are picking up on the doing something you hate every day, which is to try and go for a run, try and do something that you don't enjoy. I love it. So I want to see big things. So what I'm going to do for everybody on here, I'm going to press the stop record button on here, guys. Okay, just in a second after I've wrapped up, and then me and you are going to have a little chat afterwards. Anyway, just to go through, go through the interview. So yeah, if you do want to check out any of Natasha's stuff, there's going to be links in the bottom of this underneath this video. Okay, so if you just check out the bio, we're going to go through your photography stuff as well as the coin stuff and the
that's a bit of a unique one, that one. People are always really baffled by that, so it'd be quite interesting.
Collectible. I used to be an antique dealer, so I love all this.
Oh, there we go. I didn't know that. So yeah, that's really interesting.
That's when I was 14. That's another day though, as well as the sunglasses shop. Guys, if you are looking for sunglasses this year, I've been
They're
on
pretty
the site.
sick, I'm not going to lie.
They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. There's some unique stuff on there, okay? In fact, I'm going to pick your brains about some aviators in a minute. So guys, just look below here. Please share this if you think it's going to resonate or help anybody else. If it's resonated and helped yourself, please comment below. And we would love to have a chat with you as well if you are feeling up to the challenge. So, stay safe, stay indoors. See you soon. Thanks for watching.
Take care.